second half, see where we're at with things.
Question I had for you, Elliot, or is it gonna be your guy? He's not. He's out of town. He had a death. Oh, that's good. But what are your guys' policies on irrigation stuff? Irrigation systems? In terms of
on the site or
just having them?
yeah, having them.
So if they just don't care about where they go or anything. I don't think so.
Okay. In the right.
I don't really deal with those.
Okay.
But,
in the right of way or anything.
I don't know. I've never been asked that.
I know.
Typically, people put them in the right of way.
That's what I was gonna say. That's.
I mean, usually they're what, like 8 inches under the
6, 8,
soil. So I mean, they're not going to conflict.
If there's street construction, they get bunged up because that was one of the Echo people's complaints.
Yeah, and that'd be the only catch is if you guys redo or widen the street, then it's
right.
Ours is going by.
I mean, I guess it's a do it at your own risk type of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have much of a problem with it.
Okay.
So we don't require it for commercial properties?
Oh, Hilton does.
Hmm?
Hilton requires it.
Do they? That doesn't surprise me.
But again, it does in the area that Hilton cares about is all inside our parking lot,
not like the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
And
Hillary
so-
might actually know more about that stuff than I do, frankly. But yeah, I mean, otherwise just ask Travis or Mike.
Then I get back to like Echo Valley, perfect example, but yeah, like it was, the grade, like you said, I know how you're doing better roads downtown, a lot better than Echo Valley was, but
Yes.
but
Yep. Echo Ridge Trail is a bit of a
how it caused faster settling and erosion.
problematic.
Hey.
That's why I was curious.
Yeah, no, I'd rather have you ask and have me be like,
Since I just came up today, I'm like, well, I wanted to play it.
Yep. We are live streaming, by the way, currently. So just FYI. Okay.
Talk about or
What do you mean? I don't really have a lot of comments on it, frankly. So everything that I needed to say, I feel like I said in the report.
okay.
Not yet, no. We still got 8 minutes, Hillary.
Still time to roll.
Not hear from anybody that there were gonna be any absences, so. Doesn't always mean that there won't be.
Yeah.
You need to hand that to Megan.
Thank you.
I'm gonna locate a pen before the end of the game, so that when she hands it to me, I'm very prepared. You guys go anywhere the past week?
I went to Omaha
So did I.
and there was
Actually.
a blizzard.
Oh, did you get stuck in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't much of a spring break type trip, but it was.
I guess I went the Friday before spring break to Omaha.
Me and my family went to Phoenix for the week.
Did you go somewhere?
Yeah. I stayed in town and did rainy day stuff because no one was emailing me anything.
Yeah, I know, it was
So-
quiet at work.
I got a lot done last week. It's kinda nice.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like government offices should just shut down during spring break because everybody's out.
Yeah,
Like at least all the clients I deal with,
yeah.
they've all got families, they go on trips and stuff. So,
I didn't just like last week. I kept waiting every day. I'm like, is there gonna be any? No, no.
dude, it's same thing.
I'm Friday. I'm like, shut down too.
I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, someone better not doge my office. I'm just like answering the 2 questions I get. No, it was fine. I got a lot of like scanning and clerical work to do. I'm taking like all the old physical files that we had, like Board of Adjustment, P&Z, plats and site plans, and like scanning them individually.
Oh,
Very much
wow.
doing like intern work, but yeah, I've got a cabinet in my office that I want to get rid of.
Oh,
And until it's empty, it's going to remain in there.
yeah.
So it takes forever to do that. Like pulling staples, like removing duplicates, making sure you've got the most current version of the site plan. It's super interesting though. I saw the original site plan of Warrior Run Golf Course
Oh, wow.
back when it was called something else. I forget what it was. Something like Countryside Golf.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. It just so happened the person who bought the clubhouse and now has the Flamingo Lounge, like called me that same week and was like, "Hey, you have like the original site plan of this? I want to like print it and hang it up in the."
Yeah.
The Flamingo Lounge?
Yeah, and I just happened.
I need to hear more about this place.
Is it open?
Huh?
Are they open yet? No.
I don't know. They have their sign up. I don't think they're open quite.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, it
I think
doesn't
they
look
were
like
aiming
it.
for end of April, maybe.
Okay.
But
Oh, end of April.
maybe they're moving right along. So
Pretty quick turnaround.
Do they
they're
have
not
the-
having their ATM stolen at their other location
Oh, no.
because they own the damn pump.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
They said they were gonna spray paint a like a missing person, like a body outline of the ATM on the wall in that place. It's a joke.
That's okay.
That's cool.
I strained my back.
Oh, I bet.
We got quorum.
I bet.
Howdy Carson, how's it going?
Going well, but yourself?
Hanging in there.
Did you guys go anywhere for spring break?
We did not, no. We have our second coming in
Oh,
late April, so we're just kind of
Yeah.
battening down the hatches and, yeah. You know, she's getting to the point where she's pretty uncomfortable, so
Yeah.
not sure traveling's in the cards.
Go somewhere with two.
Yeah,
two
yeah,
under.
exactly.
Would it
We went
blow?
to Florida in February, or in January, but that was,
So you have 2 under 3?
we have a 3-year-old right now,
Okay.
and then this will be our second.
Gosh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, so.
Busy,
Sometimes.
busy. Did you guys go anywhere, Brent?
Took my 17-year-old daughter to go visit all her college choices in Chicago.
Very nice.
So, yeah, you know, walking 20-something miles a day.
Yeah.
It was good, so I think
Should we make a decision or still up in the air?
it's still up in the air. It was interesting because, you know, the ones that you came there to see, like Loyola and Northwestern, were all right, but she really liked DePaul.
Okay.
We went and saw a couple of smaller ones that she was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, left before the administration person came and talked to us, like, no, we're just going. I was like, yep, yep, okay.
Yeah, when you know, right?
Yeah, so so at least narrowing it down, and we got a little wider circle to go now a little bit, but I think she's more, okay, yeah, more with Chicago than some other places she really. I'm fine skipping the trip to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Like, that's great, but no, we don't have to do that if you don't want to do that.
Hey, Andrew.
Good evening.
How's that?
When was the last time we were all in the same room?
Oh,
It's been
man.
a long time.
Special occasion.
Uh-huh.
And we got Howard on Zoom, it looks like. He just hopped on, so.
Howard.
Practice their civil disobedience. So this is in the DNA of the Islamic Republic, and I would In America, I saw John.
Not. Baseball practice is almost over. You were sick and asleep.
Howard, you doing all right?
Yes, I'm doing good. Harry's not. I'm sorry about that.
We're good technology wise.
Yep.
Everybody ready? I will now call to order the March 24th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The time is 5:45 p.m. Hillary, would you call the roll, please?
Eden,
Here.
Hinders,
Here.
Thompson. Here. Steiger.
Here.
Samuelson.
Here.
Force.
Here.
Regulator.
Item 3 is the approval of tonight's agenda. Any changes to this evening's agenda?
It's the hard way.
Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda.
Forced to second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Item number 4 is the approval of the March 10th, 2025 minutes. Any changes to the March 10th minutes? Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the March 10th, 2025 minutes.
Steiger motion.
Thompson second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to welcome the guests that have joined us in person and on Zoom tonight. Are there any members of the public who would like to make a comment on an item that is not on tonight's agenda here in person? And I don't see anyone on Zoom. We'll go ahead and move on to item number 6, a request from Hyper Energy Bar LLC for approval of the site plan of Hyper Energy Bar. Elliot, would you brief us on this item, please?
Yep, so this is a site plan for one of the 2 lots that was part of a final plat subdividing what was a 2-acre lot just south of the retail building around Gordon between Highway 28 and Hughes Drive. As you can see in the aerial image, immediately west of one of the quads of athletic fields. And so oh, good grief. Hit refresh and hopefully that'll load up. So yes, with the subdividing of that lot, something that Public Works and Community Development wanted to make sure of is that driveway management was done in a shared manner instead of having, a single curb cut for every lot on that stretch of Hughes Drive, going with shared accesses. And Diligent was in charge of doing the subdivision process there, so we worked with them on establishing where those easements were going to go for ingress egress. And this would be the first site being developed, so kind of establishing the paved surfaces of those 2 spots. Future development to the north and potentially to the south would just Y off of these, with the site plan here showing the building on the west side of the lot. One of the things that we wanted to be conscious of when talking with the design engineer on this is the notion that during tournament time, this is going to be a pretty high traffic area with potentially a lot of people walking across the street to go patronize businesses on the west side of Hughes, directly from the sports complex. We know how valuable parking spots over there, so hopefully people are parking and walking to these places instead of always driving. So while the Hyper Energy Bar model is largely drive-through in nature. There is a walk-up counter on the north side of the building, as well as a patio area, and then sidewalk connectivity to the adjacent right-of-way. So that pretty much sums up the site itself. Couple things that went into the design of this, kind of as an aside. Queuing space is something that we look at in site plan review. You need to have space for 11 vehicles in a drive-through queue. With 2 driveways, that means you got to have 22 queuing spaces. So we thought that there was some value in having the building moved on the western side of the site. Something else that this does is at a future date, if Hyper decides, you know what, we've got all this space on the east side of the site, maybe something else can go there too, whether that's expanded patio area or the development of a structure of some sort. This arrangement allows for that a little bit more easier. So that pretty much sums up everything that I have. Here's the way the building is going to look. Walk-up counter on that north elevation. And yeah, I'm happy to take any questions. I think we have the design engineer here with us tonight as well.
Would the applicant or the applicant's representative like to make a comment on item number 6?
I think Elliot's did a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Do all the other hyper locations have 2 lanes?
Hi.
Nikki Neal, 4121 Northwest Urbandale Drive. So I'm with CDA, so we're the engineers on the project. So generally, yes, that is how Hyper is set up.
Okay.
They are a dual drive-through. All of the locations actually do have that front window, yet is it utilized? Maybe not as much. So I would say where it is probably utilized the most now is they have a brand new location that opened in Ankeny. And that one is right off of a bike trail. So that is where you'll probably see it utilized the most, is what I would say.
Any other questions or deliberation by the commission? Hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion to approve the site plan for Hyper Energy Bar.
Force motions?
Thompson seconds.
Hillary, would you call the roll, please?
Force,
Aye.
Eaton,
Aye.
Hinders,
Aye.
Thompson. Aye. Steiger.
Aye.
Samuelson,
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye. Item number 7 is the request for approval of the site plan of the Norwalk Central Water Tower. Elliot, would you brief us on this item, please?
Yep, this one's fairly straightforward. As you guys know, we're needing a second water tower. And so this is a non-residential use, and every non-residential use in Norwalk requires site plan approval by P&Z and council. We figured, well, we better follow our own rules as far as that is concerned. So Veenstra and Kim has been behind the design of this. So Tony Belizzi, our kind of main guy with that firm, being one of the most experienced engineers in our community, is kind of spearheading everything there. This one came to us pretty quick because, you know, he's not going to provide a ton of feedback on his own work for the most part. So it's right in that spot at the end of Chatham. There's going to be a future street in the subdivision that Grant McConaughey was in charge of, the gentleman with the Nutra Sport site plan. So a future phase of road construction will produce this future street from which the tower will be accessed by the city predominantly, and construction crews, of course. That's pretty much all I got. I'll do my best to answer any questions, but this is primarily an engineering project, not so much a community development one.
Is future street aligned with the street coming from the south? Or is it further to the?
South of Chatham?
Yeah.
unknown at this time, because directly south of this will be the library.
Library. So it's further east of where the existing street is, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay. Oh, it's way east. Never mind.
It's all the way at the end.
Okay. Never mind. I was thinking they're closer. Is that land? Is that?
Elliot, can we deliberate or ask questions
Yeah.
at this point?
Yep.
Why do we want to muck up our nice Chatham Drive where we want to have like this community area with a water tower? Why not put it north up there in the industrial area?
The elevation.
Top of the hill.
Like, is that 50 feet of elevation gonna
Huge.
be huge for us?
Yes, a big.
Because all the water towers have to be the same elevation. So you guys gotta build a taller tower if you have a lower elevation.
We were looking at this site as well as another one, and I don't remember exactly where the other site was, but this one is the most accessible now and is going to be better for meeting our immediate water needs than the secondary site. Is my understanding of why this was chosen.
So again, I go back to SP and Z. We need to be forward thinking, strategic here. So yes, this is good for us now, but in 5-10 years, when everybody's like, man, sure would be nice if that water tower wasn't there because name the reason. Too bad we didn't move it a mile west or east or north, same elevation. And we could have had this pretty nice Norwalk central area without a water tower.
Yeah, I guess it's really engineering driven as much as anything. I'm not really qualified to speak on the engineering side, but
That's
this
where
is
it's
the
higher
site we
ground.
determined was the most
Yeah.
suitable, and
It's about as high a ground as we have, and that's actually at the extent of city limits. I don't want to say that parcel across the road's not even Norwalk, is it?
that's correct, to the east. So I think we tried negotiating with the Eshelmans on potentially putting it there, and they weren't ready to annex in yet. I get what you're saying though, Andrew, about the gap in the streetscape that creates.
Right.
Then again, this is America and we can do anything. And I would argue that we should be able to build something on that frontage, right? And maybe it's not like a Valley Junction storefront, but maybe it's something a little bit more publicly accessible and like, I don't know, some sort of parkscape. I don't know. But I've always thought that the land around the water tower really should be used for more than just nothing.
Right.
That doesn't seem all that interesting to me. So who knows? Maybe that's a creative space that, having the library across the street would be nice, engaging with them to program it in some way. I know that there had been discussions about putting community gardens on it. And that was the one thing that I noted in the staff report is that there's no landscaping plan for this right now. City landscaping standards would say that we do something with it. The good thing is we own it. So if we want to come back at a later date and do something a little more interesting, we completely have the power to make that happen, assuming the is there.
Yeah.
Kind of giving original water tower location, that was originally on Highway 28. And now that's a bunch of businesses.
Yeah.
So maybe that's.
Yeah, but that's that empty with those swings for years. I mean, I completely understand what you're saying. Like, this is supposed to be our crown jewel. You bring like the town center and everything there, and now you've got a water tower.
Water tower says Norwalk.
Is it gonna be purple?
No, it's white. It's the same as, it matches the other one, doesn't it?
Tony wanted me to point out that the signage on there is a mock-up. So what it's actually going to look like is unsettled at this time.
It's better than me looking at a West Point one out my backyard.
Okay, one more question. Every water tower ends up becoming a cell tower. Do we need a cell tower there? Have you done any studies to say that we're based off of our current need and growth potential, a cell tower is needed?
If I worked for AT&T, I could probably answer that question better. We have to let cell companies locate their facilities on them though.
Right.
That's federal law.
Right.
It requires us to allow them to do that.
I'm gonna ask this question because I don't know. Piggybacking on that, I know I've been to ball fields where there's power lines and you hear that annoying buzz. Is that the same thing around a cell tower? Or if they put an antenna out there, is it going to make an annoying buzz?
I guess I don't know.
If we're talking about wanting to make that like outdoor space and then having the library just south of that, which they will have outdoor space.
Yeah, I don't know. Doing the sonic physics there. I mean, usually they're located in a little ring that sits within the outer wall of the upper tank. I'm just thinking if I'm below that tank, I probably can't see the antenna up there. I don't know if the sound is going to project
We've spent quite a bit of
much like
time
that.
at Warrior Park, and I've never heard anything from that water tower. Used to live over there a couple blocks in, but I've never heard any type of static or anything like you would from a power line. Now, maybe next time I go out there, it will be in the back of my mind and I will hear it, but it's never I've never noticed it when we've been out there. So
When the cell tower regulations first came around, I litigated a lot of those cases. That was never something that was ever brought up. It was just the general unsightliness of cell towers. Just how we get like the giant fake water tower out there by Living History Farms. It's actually one of the first cell towers ever located in the Des Moines metro. It's our compromise.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking, like, if, like, number one, putting a water tower in our crown jewel area, but number two, if there's a current need for a cell tower that we know is gonna end up doubling as our water tower, is this the right spot for it? Or is this just add capability to the cell network that's already there, that's not stressed in any way?
I don't really know what the demands are of telecommunications networks. That's not what my training's in. You know, like we need a water tower. That's the more important thing. And if this cell companies can benefit off of it, good for them, I guess. I'd rather have, personally, if I lived if this was my community, I'd rather have that stuff located on a water tower than a steel pole with a triangular lattice.
Well, that's what I'm
sheet
saying.
on it.
Like, if we need a cell tower somewhere, if there's already a need because there's, demand or low cell connectivity areas of Norwalk, does that pair well with a site elevation for a water tower?
Yeah, I think that's why they tend to try to locate on water towers.
But I think what you're saying, Elliot, is that the immediate need is the water,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
the cell service.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
The water is all for fire, from what I've been told. It's not gonna be used for any of the businesses around it. Is that correct, Elliot?
I don't know.
It'll be hooked into the same, it's all the same system. It all gets hooked into the same system. We need the capacity, just to have capacity, whether that be for fire, whether that be for irrigation or anything else, or future
But
growth.
to meet current fire standards.
Yeah, it'll help out. Every city gets an insurance rating based upon how much water capacity you have
Yes.
for the number of residents. And so this keeps our insurance rating high. There's nothing worse than having a fire and you run out of water, right? And so this keeps us to that point where we don't run out of water when there's a house fire or a business fire or anything else. Because I don't like Cumming, when they build a Hy-Vee warehouse, there's a giant tank out front.
Yeah.
This company doesn't have the water capacity or a tower, so they've got separate pumps and their own dedicated water supply for water suppression for that warehouse.
I don't think anybody's saying that it's not necessary. I think it's more of, is this the best place for it?
That's all I'm asking. Like,
For the functionality of the water tower, yes.
And I guess I don't have a problem with a giant sign saying you're in Norwalk at kind of the place that's in the middle of Norwalk.
Also, we were talking about parks. I mean, Beaverdale has Water Tower Park there. It's not like it would be something revolutionary in this area to have a water tower and have a park associated with it.
But is this roughly the same size as the current one that's over by the elementary
I
school?
believe so, yes. It might be slightly larger. I think the plans show 1.25 to 1.5 million gallons. That'll be one or the other.
Hey, Elliot, do you know if was any other site given consideration besides this location?
Yeah, we commissioned a study with, I want to say Snyder and Associates or McClure. a few years ago, looking at potential suitable sites. Off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly where they were. My understanding is most of the arrows pointed to the east side of Chatham.
We could put them in the middle of Colonial Circle if we wanted to.
Well, it just sounds like if elevation is the only primary driving determination, that can be solved with engineering, right? I mean,
It has, and that's what the study did, is it determined that this is the best location for it.
well, I mean, like building up the elevation, if there was another location better than putting it in the crown jewel of Norwalk.
Just additional money for the water tower that, on this tight city budget that we really don't necessarily have.
I got some extra dirt.
So the timing of the need for the water tower to come online, is that within the next year, couple years? For capacity purposes?
I would think, yeah. It's relatively imminent. We're not like in an emergency of water capacity. Like, it's the thing that we need to do. Better to do it sooner rather than later.
All right, thanks. I have no more questions. Appreciate it.
Would entertain a motion to approve the site plan of the Norwalk Central Water Tower.
Same as an emotion.
Second Andrews.
Hillary, would you call the roll, please?
Eaton,
Aye.
Hinders,
Aye.
Thompson, Steiger,
Aye.
Samuelson,
Aye.
Force,
Aye.
Regan.
Aye. Thanks, everyone. George, any update for us tonight?
I forgot this last time, we came out, that each of the council members would be a champion of something. I'm the sidewalk guy. Block building. Not really excited, but I'll do it. And but anyway, it's just basically getting all the sidewalks hooked up. So I don't know, P and Z really do part of that, when you do your site plans, I'm sure you put the sidewalks in. So it'll be going back and trying to fix the ones where they kind of stop in the middle of nowhere and go from there. So
Great.
just let you know that. So
Good luck with that. And if we can help in any way,
Yes.
you let us know.
will do, appreciate it.
Holly hasn't joined us tonight and no Luke. Elliot, any update for us?
Not really. For those of you who weren't here, Luke had a death in the family. His father-in-law passed away, so that's why he's not here. He's out of the state for a week. He'll be back on Monday. My understanding was kind of sudden and unexpected, so that sucks. We're thinking about him, of course, and his wife. I guess my only thing is Luke and I spent a pretty long time writing the staff analysis on the hyper site plan. And we've talked in the past about 1 acre lots housing just 43,000 square feet, housing a 600 square foot building. And making sure that the next time that happens, i.e. this site plan, we try to make it so that the rest of the site could someday redevelop. The thing that I would hate to see right next to a high traffic activity center in my town would be a business, for whatever reason, because it happens all the time in food and beverage, have that go out of business. And then suddenly, if the site's not geared up in a way that makes it easy to redevelop, just have that be a challenge in getting it, marketed again to a new user. So I think we got into a better place than where it started with Hyper. The engineer who was here tonight, Nikki, was real good at responding to our comments and suggestions. So overall, relatively satisfied with that. That's all I've got.
Our next meeting will be April 14th at 5:45. I would entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
Forceful motion. Your second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned at 6:09 PM. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining online, Howard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Howard.